What's up everyone? Today we're trying to find out the values of the trig functions of the given degrees. And we're not going to use the trig identities to help us find out the values. Instead, we're going to use the knowledge we learned from geometry class to build up the right triangles that we want. If you didn't watch my previous video yet, please check it out. You will see the trick that we're going to use in this video as well. So how are we going to do this? Let's start off with a regular pentagon with side length 1. Since we have a regular pentagon, each angle will be 108 degrees. Next, let's try to draw two diagonal lines from the top vertex, which gives us something like this. And right now we don't know how long each diagonal line is. Let's call it x. Now, since these two diagonal lines are the same, these two diagonal lines have the same length. We see that the red triangle is in fact an isosceles triangle. And through if we try to figure out all the angles, we will eventually see that these two angles on the bottom are 72 degrees. So, what are we going to do next? Let's try to draw another isosceles triangle. This time, we're going to draw an isosceles triangle under this pentagon. In fact, we're going to flip the red triangle to the other side to get something like this. And notice that we're flipping the isosceles triangle, meaning we have the two triangles congruent to each other. The side length will also be x here, and the angles will be 72 degrees as well. How is that going to help us? Well, let's figure out what this angle is. This angle here is 36 degrees. And why is that the case? Notice that on the left hand side, this triangle is also isosceles because we have two sides share the same length. Meaning the two angles here will also have the same measure. And to figure out each one, we just need to use the total sum 180 degrees minus the angle that that's given, and divided by 2 because they are the same. So we get 36 degrees on each side. All right. Now having all these informations, we can see that adding the three angles here, giving us 180 degrees, implying that the black line and the brown line are a whole straight line, and we get the straight angle. So, as we try to complete it, in order to finish this and try to figure out what x is, let's try to draw one more diagonal line. And this time we're going to connect the two vertices on the side. And since it is a diagonal line, it has the same length as the red diagonal lines as well, meaning the length is x. All right, so now we can try to figure out the value of x because we have two similar triangles, the purple one and the brown one. Both of them are isosceles triangles. Okay, so we're now ready for our setup. We can figure out what the value of x is. So if we look carefully, we get to two similar triangles, meaning that we can take the ratio to figure out the value of x, which is x over 1 equals the total length 1 plus x over just the brown part, x. And if we simplify it, we get x squared equals x plus 1, which is the golden ratio. X equals square root of 5 plus 1 over 2. And if we substitute back, we now get the following triangle. Now, if we try to draw a perpendicular line from the top vertex down to that's perpendicular to the base, we actually get the height, and also we divide up the triangle into two congruent right triangles. And of course, the base is half of the total length, which is 1/2. And if we look carefully, we get the right triangle 18, 72, and 90 degrees already. And lastly, we can just plug in the values into our trig functions and get the final answer. So we already finished two of the angles. Let's try to figure out the other two. This time we're going to look at the triangle on the left, and by rotating it, we get the following. And notice that this is also an isosceles triangle, so if we draw a line from the top vertex that is perpendicular to the base, we will actually divide up the triangle into two right triangles that are congruent. And the angle will be halved, which gives us 54 degrees, and the base is also halved, which will give us square root of 5 plus 1 over 4. So we can now substitute in to our trig functions to get the values for the other 2 degrees. And that's it for today's video. Pretty cool, huh? So if you have any thoughts, please leave your comment. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.